webinar where we will be discussing benefits of low latency in Forex trading. You will be able to ask a question after in meeting chat. Just type it in. I'm sure our guests today will be very happy to assist you. So I would like to introduce our speakers, Forex industry experts with many years of experience. So it's Dinos Michaelides, director at DGM Tech Solution, company which provides IT and consultancy services focusing on the financial industry. Also, DGM Tech Solution is working with big range of companies, from startups to the established brokers, offering trading system infrastructure, also monitoring solutions, CRM systems, and virtual telephony, and also many more other services. Hello, Dinos. How are you today?
Hi, Katerina. Thank you for having me. It's a great honor. I'm pleased to be
For us
here.
too.
Yeah, looking forward to this discussion. And yeah, your introduction pretty much covered me quite well. So thank you.
Very good, very good. And our other speaker, Stefano Sordini, CEO of NetShop ISP. Company has more than 12 years of experience and involvement in the Forex industry. Currently, company hosts numerous brokers in different locations. Mostly, company has requests for Forex hosting in prime financial locations like UK, Amsterdam, Singapore, and Hong Kong. So the clients benefiting from low latency between their liquidity providers and MetaTrader's 4 and 5 platforms. In the same time, at the same location, company offers Forex VPS with API enabled. So clients integrate within their client portal and offer Forex VPS to their clients with almost zero latency. Hello, Stefano. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much for the introduction. And actually, the last part of the introduction is the topic we'll be covering today with the help of my friend Dinos and partner and associate. And I hope we will be able to cover, this hot topic of Forex VPN, of low latency Forex trading.
Okay, so before we start with my first question, I would like to mention that our preparation for this webinar. Oh, sorry, is someone unable microphone? I hear myself twice. No?
Yeah.
Yeah, all good. Okay, you can hear me well.
Yes.
Okay, so let's continue. Sorry for the interruption. So when I was preparing for this webinar, I checked many articles and blog posts about an impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on Forex industry since beginning of 2020, since January 2020, because it's like, I mean, hot topic now at the moment. Everybody discussing COVID-19 situation. So even though mostly all the financial markets and industries are under serious pressure at the moment, the Forex market has been significantly growing. The main large Forex broker actually detected explosion in monthly trading volumes, and new clients signups are increased in 3 times. The ongoing pandemic situation is actually helping to rise the popularity of Forex trading. You can say it's like a trade business at the moment, on the top trades. So as we know, low latency is a key factor in Forex industry, in Forex trading. So here is my first question. Why there is so much buzz about trading Forex with low latency? Dinos, can you help us here? Could you please help everyone to understand what is low latency in general and why it is important when trading Forex?
Of course. So when we refer to latency, and by definition, what latency means, it's the time delay, the time it takes for a message or a packet to get a response from its destination and back. So technologies, speaking purely from a technology standpoint, if you had to do a ping request to a Google DNS server, You type the command ping 8.8.8.8, and you get a latency, a response time, that the amount of time it takes for that ping packet to reach the Google DNS server and then come back. So strictly speaking, that's what latency is. It's how long the packet takes to travel through the internet, hit that server, and then come back to the terminal, or the computer that's sending that request. Now, in the case of trading and in Forex trading, and generally where that's relevant, a trading terminal sends packets. So it's not a ping packet, it's a packet to place an order in the market. So whether it's a Forex trade or another CFD product, that trade originates from the trading terminal and goes to a trading server somewhere in the world. And it depends where the broker has their trading server. So strictly speaking, latency is just that part, right? So it's the time it takes for the speed of your connection from where you are to the server. But when we talk about execution, so when it comes to executing an order, there's a total time which doesn't account for only latency. There's different factors that play a role. And in an example, if you're on a desktop and you've got a Windows PC with certain compute power, when you place the order, the compute and the resource power of your terminal, your computer, plays a role in how quick that order gets processed. I mean, technology is advanced, so it'll be very quick, but it does take some time out of the execution time. Then we've got the latency to travel to the broker's server. And then over there, it depends on many different factors, starting from obviously the infrastructure that the broker has. How good is their server? How much RAM do they have? How much, their disk performance? That also takes time. So the server's now reached this, the trade rather has reached the server. Then there's some processing time on that actual server. And also depending on how the broker is going to process that server in terms of, how they're regulated, or, strategically, if they're going to A-book. So if they're going to send it further on to another liquidity provider or a bank, there's again latency to reach that liquidity provider. And then that liquidity provider needs to process the order. And then it comes back to the trader's server, the broker's server, and then back to the trader's terminal. So when we talk about execution time, all these factors play a role. And I guess, to get the most value out of this discussion, when we talk about latency, that is something that a trader has control over. While, you can only have so much control over, the performance of a broker server. It's really up to the broker and how seriously they take their technology, and if they're investing in the right, infrastructure, if they've got the right skill set and the right consultancy on what is the right hardware to have for a specific trading environment. But at least what's in a lot of control for the trader is to shave off the latency time. That is how far away they are from their trading terminal to the server. I hope that answers the question.
It's actually pretty much detailed. Yeah.
Dinos, you touched a section that, of course, it's very big and we will not be able to analyze in this webinar. But since we're talking about the benefits of low latency in Forex trading, and because in our audience today, we have both representatives of broker companies and Forex traders, it's important what you have highlighted, that for even if someone ensures that he or she does whatever is best to have the lowest possible latency, it's still up to the broker and the chain of, let's say, of the execution flow, whether the order sent by the trader will be executed fast. So, I believe for a Forex trader, a good research to find, well-established forex brokers. And I don't know whether, from your experience, Dinos, you have any, let's say, feedback from traders who trade in white label brokers. So, meaning if a brokerage is a white label, runs a white label, let's say MT4 server, this adds an additional latency to the whole cycle, right?
Okay, let me clarify that. And also, I think what maybe I should have included in my answer before is, so we spoke about, what the trader has control over, and that is reducing the latency. But I guess, the punchline is, so what? What's the benefit of having a quicker execution time? I think that's an important punchline. And then I'll answer your question about the white label. So, well, the importance is in this, this whole chain of this whole sequence of the trade, the journey of the trade, right? So from the client's terminal to the broker and then back, there are quotes, and this price feed hits the client's terminal, the trader's terminal, and traders in many cases have got an algorithmic automated trading algorithm. So it's what MetaTrader refers to as an expert advisor. So it's algorithmic trading, right? It triggers, opens and closes trades based on how the strategy is configured, how it's programmed, and in many points, in many times, the criteria that's defined in the algorithm is price points, and if a specific price point is triggered in the client terminal, by the time it reaches the server, the price might have changed a few pips up or down, and it could be against the favor. It could be towards the favor of the trader. But there is a risk factor that maybe traders don't want to have. They just want to execute according to exactly how the algorithm's trying to execute that order. So that's the benefit. You shave off that time to increase your chances even more to get that executed price that came through to the terminal, which made sense to place the trade at that given point in time. Now, regarding white label, it does not add any latency, right? There is no difference. So I guess we can get to the questions afterwards, right? Because I'm seeing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
With a white label, it makes no difference. What a white label is basically is, let's say I'm broker A, right? And I've got my server in Equinix in data center LD4. That's where I have my server. If I have a license, the MetaTrader 5 license, for example, because when you talk about the white label, I believe you're referring to the white label. Just one moment, please. I believe you're referring to the white label for MetaTrader. So if another broker who's got a white label license with broker A, so let's say you, Stefano, are broker B, and you need a white label license, what that means is you don't have to purchase the license yourself, which costs $75,000 or more. You can get a white label under my license, and you don't have to pay out that money. You simply pay a monthly fee based on the different components you get, right? So that's a whole other discussion, but you don't have to put $75,000 down. That's the main thing. At the end of the day, you're on the exact same server as mine, right? So there's no difference. I would create the relevant groups for you, and in any clients that you as broker B bring, even though they would be registered under my server, they don't belong to me as broker A. Or I could be a technology provider, right? I'm not a broker. I just have a server and I provide white labels. That could be the business. They don't belong to me, but in terms of latency and technology infrastructure and all of that, nothing changes. It's for the white label, it's the same as it is for you, broker B, as it is for me, broker A.
Yes, that's a question we're having on a weekly basis from forex traders. You know, they could be asking our advice. You know, I have a live trading account with Forex A, and I also have with multiple others. But you know, broker B and C, we know that it's white label. So is this going to add latency to our trading experience? So you know, it's a question that it's a bit it's a section that is a bit vague to most of the traders out there.
Yes.
I want to put a line here because we need to explain to our attendees, like
Yes.
from you, Stefan, actually, I want to address this question to you. As a hosting company, as a hosting expert, can you please explain how Forex trader can ensure she is trading with low latency?
Yes. So, as Dinos previously mentioned, there are some factors, some components of the whole equation of latency and orders execution speed that cannot be controlled by the trader. So we are here to discuss what can be controlled, and this is the latency between the traders location, or better yet, the location of the trader's terminal and his desired broker trading platform. So the first way that someone can ensure that the latency is as low as possible is first of all to do a ping from a Windows to run the command prompt, or from a Mac computer to open terminal and send ping request to the broker's destination IP. Now, back in the days, almost all brokers, they were providing the traders with a numeric IP or a host name that they had to enter into the back then MetaTrader 4 trading server terminal along with the credentials. If now knowing the IP address or the host name of your forex broker is not possible, because some brokers they send the installation file or they have it available for download, and the users just need to enter the login credentials. So in this case, you cannot really know the location of that IP address, which means the location of the trading server. So the second way is simply to ask the broker. Is not by having this information, it does not make let's say a security breach to the brokers, so they should be able to provide this information to their clients. So by knowing the location of your forex broker's trading platform, you know how far that location is from you. For example, if you are a trader located in Malaysia and your broker's trading server is in the UK, you will have much more latency than a forex trader who is in Amsterdam or in Germany. So the best thing to do is ask the broker, and even reveal the reason why you need to know the location. And in case your broker is in a remote location than you, let's say you are outside Europe, you are in Asia, your forex broker server is located in the United Kingdom or Amsterdam, the best thing to do is look for a VPS server. A VPS is a virtual computer which is hosted remotely at the data center, and this is where you need the information about your broker's location, so that you can search for a provider who can provide a Forex optimized VPS server so you can start trading. Now, as Dino said, this is not only let's say the parameter that one should look to minimize latency. I mean, if you get VPS in Germany and your broker is located in the United Kingdom, the network latency between UK and Germany might not be optimized. So for you, you will still be paying additionally for a VPS and still have long or high latency. Ideally, if your broker is hosted in the UK, you should look for a VPS hosted in the UK. Once you get the VPS, or even before you get it, you can provide an IP address either of your broker server to your hosting provider or vice versa, so that you can get an average latency, the average latency between the potential VPS that you will buy with your desired Forex broker server. Anything that is, let's say, higher than 100 or 200 milliseconds is not bad, but you can do better if you find a VPS that is closer to your broker. For an ideal trading, let's say, experience, you should look for a latency around 10, 20, maximum 50 milliseconds. And with the popularity of the Forex VPS service nowadays, and the optimization of the world's network routing, is not hard to find VPSs very close to your broker's location, regardless of where they are. I mean, if they are in Czech Republic, there are certain locations where hosting providers can offer low latency to Czech Republic. So to sum up, if you are physically located in a location that is way far from where your broker servers are located, the VPS, I believe, is the best solution. There is nothing complicated about it. It's still a Forex VPS server still runs on Windows, like most people's computers. You will be able to install whatever you want. So it's an ideal solution in order not to have latency issues when trading.
Okay, thank you, Stefano. So to summarize my understanding, let's say, so the more close you are to location of the broker, the best for your trading experience.
Exactly, for the parts that a trader can control.
Yes. Yeah, understood. Okay, thank you, Stefano. Dino, I have a question for you. From your experience as a technology consultant in Forex industry, could you please advise what, if someone wants to purchase a Forex VPS, what they should consider before purchasing? What are specification or requirements they should keep in mind before ordering to have a best option, best solution?
Sure. So it's a great question. Now, the obvious one is, to choose a VPS server that is as close as possible to as what Stefano mentioned before, to the broker's trading server. And a trader can simply ask, which data center is the server based? And they should at least, they don't necessarily have to provide an IP address, but they should at least tell you where it is. Right, so it's in London, or it's in Equinix, or LD4, it's in Amsterdam, wherever. It's there. They don't have to give an IP address. So that would be the first thing. Just make sure that the VPS is in the same data center, preferable, or at least very close. The other, I would make sure that the compute, the resources of the VPS is good enough. Right, and there's different the recommended. I've seen statements where they've said 2 cores and 4 gigabytes of RAM is enough. I've noticed that is not in some cases. And this is, we speak in very general. If you're a trader that loads, hundreds of charts all in the terminal, and you load it full with expert advisors and indicators and things, that's going to take more resources than a trader who doesn't put any charts up and loads no indicators and just trades. So it depends also on the use, what you're using the server for. But if you get a 4-core 8 gig RAM, right, and disk space, that's enough. So 100 gigabytes is more than enough, and SSD drives. And most servers are VPS servers. They provide SSD, or at least very good disk performance. So IOPS, right, input output operations per second, or whatever the IOPS stands for. I guess Stefano knows that stuff.
If we get too technical, we'll scare the people. So, SSDs,
SSD.
Yeah,
I guess everyone knows that, right?
Yeah.
So just good performing disks, 8 gigabytes of RAM memory, and 4 cores is more than enough. And not just for general use cases, even if you want to load many expert advisors, not hundreds, right? So that's good. I would recommend to look at the compute. And just I guess maybe the least important is just make sure that the reputation and the support, the SLA generally of the hosting provider that you're going to be renting from, they don't normally have issues. Google answers a lot of questions. He's my
Trustpilot.
Yeah, Trustpilot, 100%. Just a bit of due diligence. Make sure that the hosting provider is okay, and that's it. And then the price, obviously, make sure that you're not overpaying for anything. Those are the factors.
Yeah, price is always sensitive matter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So okay, so it's location, some technical specs that should be good enough to operate, and good name of your hosting provider.
Mm-hmm.
To summarize this. Okay, thank you very much. And I think more or less we are done with my questions. But before we're gonna go to questions in the chat, I wanted to ask actually one question from me personally. If you can share maybe some experience from your latest project, something interesting, maybe you want to something to highlight, maybe some case studies, something really you would like to share with our audience today.
Sure. So, VPS is one pain point that has that exists, and the latency, right? What we've discussed for the most part of this webinar. That's one thing. Another is, and specifically with MetaTrader, there's platform compatibility. MetaTrader is primarily built for Windows machines, and they do also have a mobile Android and iOS version. But if you have a Mac or a Linux desktop, there is no compatible version that's straight from MetaQuotes. They have not developed a native application for those platforms. There are workarounds, so you could use Wine, which is or Play on Mac, right? These are workarounds, but there's compatibility issues because you're basically working on a kernel that wasn't built for. So there will be some commands, some features that may not work, and MetaQuotes says it's at your own risk, right? We don't support, or we cannot answer for any incompatibilities. So what makes a lot of sense in this project that and thank you for asking, is we have a solution where you're able to run MetaTrader which runs on a Windows machine. And that's what it was built with. It was built for Windows, so it runs on the Windows machine as normal. And you can have a Mac, and through a client, which is built for Mac, open up the MetaTrader application, which basically is just a graphical view of the Windows application that's running on the Windows server. And that's another use case that makes a lot of sense for, when using a VPS that's a Windows server essentially, and through a client which is built for the Mac environment, present the trading application MetaTrader without any compatibility issues. So you're able to load expert advisors as normal. You're able to transfer to and from files, indicators, and so on. It works, and there's no compatibility issues. So that's a project that we're excited about, and and that tackles another pain point.
Okay, that's nice. And Stefano, from your experience?
Well, from one of the recent launches we did is the new revamped Forex VPS service, where it was initially launched back in 2011. However, now it comes ready with Open API. So this is wonderful news for Forex brokers and CRM developers, because now the Forex brokers can integrate our Forex VPS solution in their own client portal, white label it, and offer it to their clients with any custom parameters they want. For example, we have brokers whom they provide the standard Forex VPS at $10, but the same service they provide it for free for traders who, let's say, meet some, let's say they do 2,000 lots. They meet a trading volume criteria. So this is our, latest hot update from our Forex solutions, and it's the one that will be going to Dubai to meet with existing partners, clients, and share the good news.
Yeah, that's very nice.
During COVID, I'm sure Dubai will be safer than any other European country.
I believe it also will be very busy because everybody wants to meet offline anymore.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And yeah, let's move to the questions then. Actually, we have quite some number of questions. So from one of the attendees, we received the following question: are VPSs compatible with any expert advisors?
Stefano, I'll let you tell me who should answer or not. Yeah.
Actually, yes. What people should think of a VPS, if you remove the last part, which is a virtual private server, you should think of it as a workstation, as a laptop, which is hosted somewhere remotely on a data center. So as long as it has Windows on it, the MT4, MT5 trader platforms, terminals can work. There is no particular reason for an expert advisor not to work. If it works on a personal computer with the terminal installed, it should work anywhere else. I think I covered the...
Yeah, it's clear.
Yes.
Okay. If anyone else have question, please type them now so we will track in the future. So another question now: which are the more important qualities, attributes of the data centers the brokers should seriously consider in their selection process?
Okay, I think you missed the question. There was another question about.
Yeah, I'll come back later.
You'll come back. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so should I answer the question about the data centers?
Yes, please.
Okay. which are the qualities of a data center the brokers should seriously consider? Okay, so would we say data centers in the context of MetaTrader 4, right? So that could get confusing. Is in what context are we talking about data centers? Because if you're talking about data centers in VPS, that could be any data center around the world, right? That's a data center is a data center. Equinix is a data center. But the question is, I believe, is in the context of MetaTrader 4. And in MetaTrader 4, a data center is the proxy server. So MetaTrader 4 has the capability to, we're talking about trading server MetaTrader 5. Okay, so in MetaTrader 5, there's no data center. It's what it is.
Dinos, I think the participant who raised the question means, please correct me if I'm wrong, through the chat, means about a forex broker, let's say newly established or existing one. What are the criteria or attributes they should look at a data center, meaning the hosting provider?
Got it.
I think this is what the question.
Oh, okay. Understood. Sorry. So it's not.
So I will not answer to it, so it doesn't look like self-advertising. Dino, you can.
Yeah. So I guess this applies for MetaTrader 4 or 5, right? The important quality or attribute is obviously, again, it's the reputation of the hosted provider, the hosting provider, and it depends where you're getting your quotes from or your liquidity from, right? So a broker normally gets quotes or liquidity from a liquidity provider, and that's basically the feed that comes to the broker server that then gets sent to trading terminals. That's one important factor. So if you've got you're a broker and you've got your server close to your liquidity provider, you reduce the time it needs for the quotes to hit your server.
Yeah, that's the other part you mentioned before about the things a trader cannot control. This is one of the things
exactly. So in the exact same way, a trader, right? Because at the end of the day, a trader is getting quotes and is sending trades to a broker. A broker is getting quotes and sending trades to a liquidity provider. So in the same way, the trader is important for them to look at, how far away am I to you, my broker? That's latency. Reduce the latency, get closer to you. Right. If you're a broker, look at the exact same thing. How far away am I to you, my liquidity provider, so that I can get my feed and send my trades if I'm sending trades to you quicker. So that's important. And obviously the rest, I guess I guess goes without saying, right? The reputation of the hosting provider, the SLA, right? The support. How good is the support? If something goes wrong, can someone help me? I'm the broker who helped me, these kinds of things. That's important. And and then you can get into. I mean, this is a big discussion. There's a lot of things coming up in my.
Yeah, but good you mentioned about support, because sometimes it's really crucial to have a quick response and fast help assistance. Yeah.
Yes. A good SLA, right? So, the norm is 99.99, whatever it is, percent, 99.99%. That means it's some hours down, and ideally, if you're a broker and you've got you got to have your primary server in one data center and then have your redundant server somewhere else in another data center, because there could be an issue with an upstream provider, right? So out of the hands of the hosting provider, you need to have geo redundancy.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
We have experienced that, not we, thank God, with the recent fire at OVH data center in France.
Wow.
I mean, businessmen and IT managers started realizing the importance of disaster recovery, because any company any data center can fail at any time.
Of course.
So it's what you said is very important. And nowadays the costs are, I would say, not almost zero, but we're not talking about the same costs that there were 5 years ago, that you needed twice the budget to have a primary and a disaster recovery site. So it's
quite affordable
yeah.
now. Yeah. Okay, so I think we clear up this question. So let's move to the next one. So here's, can Forex brokers block VPSs from being able to connect with their trading terminals?
So I think I want to answer this one.
I do as well, but go on.
Okay, I want to give the first part, and then you can answer.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
If a broker is looking to block a trader that's using a VPS, just don't go with that broker, because they don't have a good intent.
Yeah.
Right? The broker's intent, if they want to block you as a trader because you're using a VPS, just don't just don't use them. I mean, that's pretty much it. So. Yeah.
So there is no limitation.
Yeah, and then I guess Stefano, you can answer. I just wanted to state that.
No, actually, you covered me. However, what I wanted to say is that forex brokers, they cannot control the let's say where you are trading from. So in their logs, in their MetaTrader manager, let's say, all they see is account ID, IP address, and the order that you have placed. So if they suspect any, abusive activity or, anything that might make them want to block you, they can either freeze your account or block your IP address. They cannot find out if you are using a VPS or a home connection. Your VPS though will have a static, non-dynamic IP address, which means that if your forex broker blocks it, then you will need either to buy a new forex VPS or kindly ask your provider to replace it. But that's the only case. That's the only way a broker can block you.
Okay. I believe it's clear for our audience. So I think it's last question. Or Dinos, you want to comment something?
Yeah, obviously, I also wanted to say, I also understand why brokers would want to block, right? Because there are some traders who manipulate, right? So so I'm pulling on both ends. If you're a humble, honest trader and you want a VPS, there should be no reason that a broker should block you. But if you want to get close to the trader, so that there are ways you can try and trick the markets, then the broker should block you, because then your intent is not good if you're a trader. So yeah,
correct.
Okay. So let's move to the last question. Okay, our attendees, you can add more. We have still some time to assist you. So, is there any special software needed in my computer to run a VPS server?
Dinos, I think this question fits your upcoming project.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So apart from our project, right? The software that you need is built into Windows 10, right? So if it's remote desktop connection or whatever it is, if you type remote, you'll find it. It's built into Windows 10. And there are other remote desktop applications that exist for other platforms. In the case of running on MetaTrader 5 on Mac or Linux, this project that we're working on there's a link. We've made it seamless. We've made it as seamless as possible. You don't need to open up software or remember password to get into your server, because where I just mentioned the former, if you use remote desktop, you need to you need to remember the password unless you specifically go and configure and save your credentials and make sure you remember where you saved it and open that specific file that where you got your saved credentials every time. You need to remember. What we've done seamlessly is with the link, you click, it goes in, you put your password only the first time, and with two-factor authentication, which is, for security purposes, comes to your mobile, and you put that second code, very easy to use process, you get in. And it will automatically, if you don't, because there is a required software, if you don't have it installed, it would install it on the first run, and then from that point on, it would just open it directly. On the operating system, it would bring up the relevant application would open up and get you into MetaTrader without you needing to look for any software or log in, right? So I hope that covers that question.
Yeah, sure. You have anything to add, Stefano?
No, Dinos covered me completely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And it seems there is no more questions. So I believe it's time to thank our speakers today. Thank you very much for your time, first of all. Yeah. And for your knowledge, for your experience you share with us today. It was a pleasure to have this discussion with you. And thank for
As
our
well.
audience today, yeah, that they've also spent time, and I believe they learn some new things about Forex VPS and Forex trading and benefits of low latency.
Thank you, Katerina. The pleasure was mine. And also thank you to all the people who attended and, gave 1 hour almost of their time. I highly appreciate that. And Stefano, thank you also. Thank you both for the invite. And I'll see you in Dubai, Katerina.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Dinos, for participating. Also, thanks to everyone who attended. I hope that we were able to provide insights without, being too technical, and that's quite hard for, let's say, people with technical backgrounds when they need to share information with non-technical way.
Yeah.
Thank you, Katerina.
Thank you. And I hope next webinar will be maybe with more specific subject, maybe go into details, because I see you like to discuss it in going deeply technically, and I believe it will be useful for audience. So I look forward to it. So after Dubai, I will start my preparation.
Yes.
Let's get also the feedback from the audience, what they would like is another topic.
Yeah, we're gonna do maybe some questionnaire on LinkedIn. So yeah, follow our social media, and yeah, maybe we get some ideas from our audience then.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. So see you next time.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
Katerina.
all.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.